I first met meritocracy when I was a kid. As early as I could remember, my dad spoke of him often with reference to his childhood in Ghana. My dad never really said his name specifically, but looking back, I always knew that was who he was alluding to. Especially whenever he told me that education was a privilege, was the key, and if I kept my head down and got good grades, I could be anything I wanted to be. I met meritocracy again, this time in front of a computer screen in the summer holidays and weekends. Yes, I should have been Phineas and Ferb-like outside with my mates, but when I was 8, my mum got Wi-Fi and virtual worlds were now my new vibes. From doing up Ninja in the dojo on Club Penguin, to pretending to be a fashion designer on Stardog. It was all an escape for me. Virtual worlds. Video games in general confirmed the existence of that meritocracy guy my dad would go on about. I could see him in action when I was working at the pizza parlour, earning my Club Penguin coin keep decorating my igloo. When I was on Bearville, depositing bear bills in the virtual bank gaining interest. When my mates were pretending to be 13, exercising their patience, just waiting for their crops to grow on Farmville so they could sell them. He was present. Meritocracy. He was real. He was proof that if I worked hard, in my 8-year-old mind anyway, if I was persistent, I could achieve anything I set my mind to. And I genuinely believed that. No matter how many failed attempts I made, if I tried hard enough, the next level was always promised. And progression was inevitable. That was a fact of life. That's what these games taught me. But they were just that. Games. Because as I aged out of my dad's well-meaning advice and virtual worlds into the real world, I realised that working hard didn't always mean being rewarded. I might have had a few hiccups, but when it came to playing the good grade to good job pipeline game, I can hand on my heart say that I played it to the best of my ability with the tools that I had. I did okay at school, earning all the points from UMS to UCAS. I got the grades, made 2 failed attempts at university, did some work experience in between, then I finally graduated with a good degree. However, post-graduation, I found myself doom scrolling on Indeed or Arch jobs, knocking on the doors of locked or gate-kept opportunity, adding to an Excel tracker sheet of rejected cover letters and CVs, desperate to establish myself as a creative, fully well knowing that a lot of the industry I wanted to enter looked, sounded, and thought very little like me. At this point, I think a part of me had accepted that Club Penguin meritocracy had officially done a Houdini, and he was most definitely not going to slide down an ice mountain anytime soon to come and save me. But then I saw a glimmer of hope in something else. A quick Google search, and there it was. Young People's Creative Skills Development Programs. 16 to 25. 16 to 21, 16 to 19, 18 to 25, 18 to 30. From theatre and TV to music and audio production and poetry, charitable organisations across the UK were becoming game developers of their own. Programming these 4 to 12-week courses aimed to address the lack of representation and access amongst young people within the creative industries, often from underrepresented groups, to support, train and equip them for employment with the potential to obtain work afterwards. This was a new pathway. And yes, it was another hoop to jump through or another game to play, but it was better than moping around in rejection and doing work for free with no guarantee of job security. This is it. This program is the key to that locked door that's going to level the playing field and allow me to get a full-time job in the creative industries. Finally. So I thought. But once a program ended, it often felt less like a level complete and more like a game over. I always found myself with a little more XP, sometimes a couple more mates, maybe a little alumni GC and some things to add to the CV. And if I was lucky. A commission or temporary work opportunity, but nothing stable. Then I started the cycle again, applying for another program, hoping that an opportunity might land next time. A lot of young people do. This begs the question, why are there so many young people's programs that often perpetuate the cycles of or underemployment? Join me on a little quest. The goal? To uncover new solutions for designing accessible, paid, and sustainable pathways into the creative industries before, during, and after these creative young people's programs. Over a series of levels, we'll follow the voices of 5 talented creatives who will share their XP of these programs and just being a creative in general. They'll even look at what organisations can do better to soften the blows or KOs of rejection before they get their foot in the door. Along the way, you'll also help me with the bonus task of unlocking the young people's identities and creations from the shackles of the evil content overwhelm and obscurity. Hi, my name's Yasmine, and I'm a spoken word poet and former 16 to 25 program user. I am also currently a Wired4Music Associate at the youth music charity Sound Connections, one of 2 paid roles specifically developed following the completion of a 6-month training program. However, throughout this podcast, or audio quest if you will, I will be your companion. Think of me as kind of like your Tom Nook, Princess Zelda, or, for you non-gamers out there, the Microsoft paperclip guy, speech bubble popping in and out along the way. So, this is Pathways, a quest in search of creative industry progression for young people. Are you ready to play? Are you ready to play? Are you ready to play? Are you ready to play?